that. Am I too late? Is there enough time? Right? There is definitely enough time. Please remember that. Don't give in to speculations. There is enough time. Right? The first idea we want to cover is, am I too late? And having self doubts in terms of how am I going to cope up? The 4 months is enough or not? We have about 4 months for November, end of November. How am I going to push through? Is it too late? Should I throw in the towel? All of that, right? I can tell you, find about 400 hours of preparation. Do things that we are going to discuss in detail in this video. You still have enough time. Lot of people prepare for 4 months. Obviously, it goes without saying there are exceptions. There are people who will prepare for 1.5 years, 2 years. There will be the larger chunk will prepare for about 12 months. There is a smaller chunk that will prepare for 4 to 5 months, and then there is a even smaller chunk that prepares for about 1.5 years. Right? But I honestly think it is not too late, right? Especially if you've taken the exam, it is completely not too late. You should look to prepare and nail this exam. Even if you have not taken this exam, again, something that Rajesh keeps repeating: if you are given a CAT paper and given lot of time, right, to solve, you should be able to understand and attempt or think about, how do I open this? How do I crack this? How do I answer this? You should be able to attend probably about all questions in the verbal section, about 34 questions, because it is plain English. That you might get some of them wrong, but it is not like something that you don't understand at all. It is not something you don't comprehend at all. It's common sense. You use common sense, you read patiently, you understand, you're through. Right? One third of the paper is done. In DALR, again, if you spend enough time, at least one or two puzzles you can crack. You can crack it. Right? Given that the condition is unlimited amount of time. Right? Same goes for math. Arithmetic probably contributes about 90th percentile, not percentage of questions, but 90th percentile in the math section. If your arithmetic is set in stone, then you can very easily cross the 90th percentile. If you use common sense, again, arithmetic questions are fairly doable. Right? Your averages, percentages, profit and loss, time, speed, distance, pipe cistern, work time, all of these questions, you can nail them if you spend enough time. Think about what is being asked. How do I approach this? Right? Maybe if you are curious about how we teach, you should maybe attend a demo class. Right? We offer a demo class for people who are thinking about taking up live classes with us. Right? You should attend every class. I've taken last week's profit and loss, the previous week's percentages. You should ask our students. They'll tell you we did not touch any formula at all. We thought about idea, we discussed the idea, and how do we take that idea and elaborate, expand it to every possible question that is given. So you don't need a formula. You don't need to memorize different formulae, at least for most parts. Maybe in trigonometry identities you need to remember. In geometry, what is semi perimeter or different things you need to remember, but otherwise most things you can cross 90th percentile in math very easily without having to worry about remembering formulae, memorizing formulae and everything, which means about 70-75% of the entire paper you should be able to attempt without having any practice or any knowledge about this exam at all. Which brings us to the next point: you should prepare for this exam this year. If you are thinking about it, you shouldn't wait until next year. Right? The next important question that people get is, working professional, how do I find time? Right? If you're a working professional, it is tough. It is probably much tougher than a final year student has it. Right? If you are someone who's slightly unlucky and did not think about CAT when you are in your final year of your graduation, and now is the time that you're thinking about this, then that is the card that you've been dealt with. You can't change, like your 10th score or your 12th score, which you cannot change. This is also something that you really cannot change. So remember that you can't change that. So how do you go about it? You think of this in terms of, where all can I find time? Where all can I squeeze in time? Right? Where all can I scramble for time? Be in the scramble mode throughout. Right? You can get some 3 minutes there. You go to Instagram, check out our stories that we post, answer the questions on the articles that you read the previous day. Right? If you have 15 minutes time, read that article. Right? If you have some 10 minutes, solve some Sudoku, solve some 2048, so maybe go through Minesweeper. Right? If you have some more time, if you have some notes you revised, right? Or if you have the 2IM's online course, swipe through the slides. Don't watch the video because it is loud and others can see and all of that. But it is like you're looking at your phone and swiping through slides without having to worry about anything else. Then you're through, right? Finding time is going to be tough. It is going to be tough for everybody, right? Especially if you are a working professional, you are motivated to go the extra mile, which means you got to go that extra mile. You can't say, hey, I'm not finding time, how do I go about this, what am I supposed to do? Big deal. It is tough. It is tough for everybody. For some it is even slightly more tough, but that doesn't make you a failure, or that shouldn't be a reason for you to give up. If anything, that should be a reason for you to say, I'll buckle up, I will do this, I let us see who's the big daddy here, right? So take it for granted, it is going to be tough. It is going to be tough for most people. Anybody who's seen ABC, IKL, anybody in the top 30 schools is going to have gone through lot of things. Many of them are going to have tough jobs, in addition to which they are going to prepare and get fantastic percentages. See, I'm not saying fantastic by me, I'm not intending to mean 99.9. For some, 92 is a fantastic percentile. For some, 85 is a fantastic percentile. If you are from Tamil Nadu and if you have OBC certificate and if you have a 70th percentile and you want to go to BIM Trichy is your uh, dream school, go for it, my friend. Who's there to stop you? Obviously, for at every single point of time, you will have somebody else to compare with. If you are going to A, B, C, you will have somebody who you want to compare with and then say, hey, he's gone to ISB. If you are an ISB, you want to compare with somebody who's going to INSEAD. If you are an INSEAD, you are comparing yourself with somebody who's going to Harvard and Yale. Right? At every point of time, there's going to be somebody else who you can look up to and compare to and all of that. But nobody can tell you what is right, what is wrong for you. You will have to decide what is right or what is wrong for you, and I think that matters, right? If you are a working professional, it's okay. So what? Find time, buckle up, go that extra mile, spend that extra hours, stop wasting time on WhatsApp, Facebook, spend more time watching videos on, not on preparation, gyan and everything, but actual questions that are solving, that are being solved from actual CAT. If you don't have time to look at slides from the course, then go to search for CAT question paper, right? You'll get CAT question paper, you'll get our website online.2im.com, where every single question from all editions of CAT from 17 is there with the detailed text and video solutions. You should go through them. If not yet, you should definitely go through them at least now, right? The URL is straightforward. It is qn.2im.com, right? It's not fancy, it is very straightforward, easy to remember. It is qn.2im.com. So yeah, go for it and take value from this. Okay? The next point I wanted to discuss, I'm able to read articles, but I'm struggling with answers and reading comprehension, right? This lots of students complain about this idea as well, right? If you're able to read articles, you're able to comprehend, but struggling with answers, there could be some one of the two errors, I think two, right? Let us discuss. The first idea is that sometimes you are consciously uh, thinking about what am I remembering, right? So don't try to remember the overarching idea. It matters, right? Don't have to worry about the remembering the facts, but remember the overarching theme. What is the idea that is being discussed in this, right? So go for it. Read, right? Sometimes we are consciously thinking about, I remember 1965 that this happened, 1983 this happened, Reagan was the president in this time. So you are trying to remember facts, then you are losing out on the essence, right? So this could be one error. The second error is you sometimes you have preconceived notions that you are not supposed to go back and read from the passage. Who cares, right? I know I scored 99.21 in VRC section in 2 years ago in CAT, where I read it. I read one passage 3 times before I could answer 3 or 4 out of some questions in inside CAT exam. Right? There is nothing wrong in spending 18 minutes in RC passage. There is nothing wrong in rereading or going back to the passage again. Right? Don't let anybody bullshit you in telling you that, hey, once you have read, that's all you are through. No, you need to be completing this in 10 minutes. No, you can't go back again. No, none of this matters. All that matters is how many questions you can get right in those 30 minutes or 40 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever is that section's time limit, right? So start looking out for what errors you are making. It could be any of the 4 5 things that we mentioned. So look at it as, am I reading to understand, or am I reading to remember and recollect? Am I not going back to the passage enough? I should know, hey, this question is somewhere related to the first two paragraphs, and then I scroll back and then I find the answer and then I mark the answer. That is perfectly fine. Right? Reading that paragraph again is also perfectly fine. So remember to not make these mistakes. Right? Don't have a time limit for yourself saying, hey, I want to finish this passage by hook or crook in 10 minutes. Who cares? Take the time that the passage deserves. Right? Remember that. So once you figure out if you are making any one of these mistakes or something else as well, right? Fix the mistakes, your scores will go better, right? The other thing is, I'm able to solve without time limit, but not when under the clock. Especially for quants and DLR, people have this complaint. Even more so for DLR than quants, right? So people say, hey, once my mock is over, I am looking at the paper, I am able to get 30 questions out of 34 questions. I am able to get 27 questions out of 32 questions, right? But during the exam, I got two questions right, I got four questions right, which means you're panicking, right? If you're panicking, then everything is going to go for a toss because your brain is not working, right? I'm not saying you can't panic, you shouldn't panic, but I'm saying start, learn to manage your panicking. Tell yourself, hey, it's all right, I'm going to refocus, I'm going to look there however far I can look and take two deep breaths, I'm going to reset everything and then I'm going to come back, right? If you're panicking, it is okay. If you're nervous and jittery, it is still okay, but you can always reset and try to come back and use the adrenaline that it gives you, right? So if you are able to solve without time limit, I think you should give yourself a pat on the back and then tell, hey, you know what? I know this idea. I know how to crack this puzzle. I am not. It is not that I don't know this. It is not that I don't understand this. If anything, lot of people, when they get to this point, they'll start worrying and putting themselves down because they feel I'm not worth it. If I can't do that inside the exam context, what is the point? No, that is exactly the opposite of what you should be thinking. You should be telling yourself, hey, you know what? If 3 months ago I wouldn't have been able to crack this question, inside, outside, time limit, no time limit, I don't care, but I wouldn't have been able to crack. But 3 months later, after so many hours of, how many hundreds of hours of hard work, I'm able to crack this question, and I think that matters. Now is the easy part. I need to crack this under a time limit. Let me go there and do that. So set yourself up for being able to answer questions inside the time pressure by appreciating yourself, saying, hey, if I'm able to do this outside the exam, maybe learning how to do this inside the exam is not that tricky, maybe I'll do that next time and get there, right? The last point I wanted to discuss in this slide is mocks. What mocks, right? If you're someone who's not yet taken a mock, and if you're preparing for CAT 2021, I think it is high time you started taking your mocks. It is super critical for you to take a mock right now, today, maybe tomorrow morning, but as soon as possible, right? Because we have only 4.5 months, right? Why should you take a mock? It is because you are learning to navigate, you're learning to sit through an exam, you're learning to stay attentive for a long period of time. I don't care if you have not completed your syllabus. Like mentioned in the first point, about 70% of the questions you should be able to answer if you're not given any time, right? Which means if you have completed only three topics, go ahead and take a mock. It is not wasting a mock. Like, it will be criminal of you if you tell that it is you are wasting a mock by taking a mock now, which is not true. You got to take a mock as soon as possible and make sure you answer whatever right you can get. Right? You'll get the hang of writing a mock only if you keep writing mocks, right? By the time you hit your 30th mark, then you're plateauing at a 98 or a 99 or a 90th, whatever is your percentile goal, right? But if you are after your fifth mark, you're not plateauing, you're still growing, you still have scope to grow. And if you're looking at 90th percentile, yeah, and you are still at 70th percentile after 4 marks or 7 marks, then what is the point? There is no point in taking those 5 marks. So you got to plan yourself to take about 25 to 30 marks from now until the exam, which means they're about of 1 mark in 4 days, which means you should start taking your marks today. Right? So if you have not yet taken marks, please remember, take your marks today. What else? Right?